The reason this is so important is because we have seen a clear pattern of the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party, exporting their repression right here into the U.S. And we've had now a number of indictments that you may have seen of the Chinese engaging in uncoordinated quote-unquote law enforcement action right here in the United States, harassing, stalking, surveilling, blackmailing people who they just don't like or who disagree with the Xi regime. And so it's a real problem, and it's something that we're talking with our foreign partners about as well, because we're not the only country where this has occurred.
They don't have any right to be here, right?
Well, we're looking into the legal parameters of it. So I want to be a little bit careful not to get out over my skis on that. But suffice to say, I can tell you from an FBI director perspective, I'm deeply concerned about this, and I'm not going to just let it lie.
Okay. Secretary, does it impact Homeland Security at all?
Well, of course, the threat of China is one of the most significant threats that we face in the homeland. It's not only a matter of national security; it's a matter of homeland security in a number of arrays, in a number of areas of our mission.
Do you think you have the ability to shut them down? Do you know if you have the right to shut them down?
I would have to defer to the Department of Justice with respect to the
it would go to
authorities.
Justice, not Homeland Security. Okay, so it would be under FBI.
Well, or to the extent that the remedies might be some part of the Justice Department outside the FBI, that could also be a possibility. And then there may be a State Department dimension to this that we're looking into.
So when you know they're here, do you know if they're surveilling U.S. citizens? Do you know that yet? Do you have enough information to know if they are?
Well, again, I don't want to get too far into our ongoing investigative work, but as I said, we have seen plenty of situations in the past where the Chinese government, under the pretext of going after corruption, have essentially used that as a vehicle to surveil. We've had situations where they've planted bugs inside Americans' cars, for example.
Y'all, they've been lying. Just watch this video.
People were already here. Does it make sense to go all the way to this other continent to bring people on a boat when we know that half of your stock is gonna die? You wouldn't do that. So
let me close my blinds because this is about to get deep. I've been really thinking about this. It do not make sense to go all the way to another place to look for slaves when there's already people here. So if they enslaved the people here and the slaves were melanated black, the Native Americans are the black people. Okay, so when Chris first came to the Caribbean and he stole some natives, which is in South America, in his journal he mentioned that Native Americans were black-skinned people. A voyager even said the Indians are very dark-complected, approaching black people. They have large lips, broad, flat, black-like nose, bearing strong resemblance to black people. It also said they had long, straight hair, so there's your evidence. Published by Vogue. So now I'm just thinking, who are these people? There is a lot of talk that they are descended from Mongolian people. I'm not gonna lie, it do look similar. Now there was also this situation called the $5 Indian, when people paid $5 to falsify documents declaring them Native Americans to reap the benefits. And then what they did with us, dark-skinned indigenous people who were called Indians or Indos, because they were dark, the United States legally unlawfully classified each as Negro. So they changed our ethnicity and said all of us was just Africans. This is a picture of a postcard of an American person back then. Now, before Caucasian people came, we all know specific tribes were beefing with each other. Now, what if the Mongolian people teamed up with the colonists, and because we was beefing, to help enslave us? Then they had a Thanksgiving to celebrate, and they end up getting backstabbed too, and outcasted to the West. There is evidence all around North and South America that black people were here. So tell me what y'all think. Stay dangerous.
We gon' dance to this one for sure. I tried to look the other way, but baby. I saw you holding cute and saying good like that.
Is this you discussing Indian blood? We're going to judge people by whether they have Indian blood, whether they're qualified to run a gaming casino or not?
That probably is me, absolutely. Because I'll tell you what, if you look at some of the reservations that you've approved, you, sir, in your great wisdom have approved, I will tell you right now, they don't look like Indians to me. And they don't look like to Indians. Now, maybe we say politically correct or not politically correct. They don't look like Indians to me, and they don't look like Indians to Indians. And a lot of people are laughing at it, and you're telling how tough it is, how rough it is to get approved. Well, you go up to Connecticut, and you look. Now, they don't look like Indians to me, sir.
Thank God that's not the test of whether or not people have rights in this country or not, whether or not they pass your look test.
Depends whether or not you're approving it, sir.
No, it's not a question whether I'm approving it. It's not a question whether I'm approving it. Mr. Trump, you know in the history of this country where we've heard this discussion before, they don't look Jewish to me.